Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on Ag Game in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Cabus. The swine industry in the state of Kansas is an enormous enterprise for consumers and producers alike. So years ago, Kansas State University set up a Swine Industry Day to present their research to this vast industry. Kansas State University's annual Swine Day was held November 21st, 2014 at the K-State Alumni Center in Manhattan, Kansas. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on Ag Game in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Cabus. Kansas State University Swine Industry Day was held November 21st at the Kansas Alumni Center. Okay. Take a look.
It's really good to have all you here today for Swine Day, and Swine Day has been, it's an annual event. It's always the third Thursday in November, and it's kind of the research day of the year for us, where we focus on giving a summary of the latest topics and a summary of our research that we've done over the year. And so it's a great place to showcase our research and showcase our graduate students and all the great things that we've been learning over the last year.
This year's program will focus on PEDV transmission, feed science, and other facets of the swine industry. These research topics will help producers, consumers, and pork-affiliated organizations interpret data that can be applied in their everyday operation problems.
There's a couple of different topics we've been focused on over the last year that have been really important. The first is PED and porcine epidemic diarrhea virus. And you know, it's been established that feed's a transmission route, and so we've been trying to use the strengths at K-State. We've learned there that it takes a very small amount of this contamination of feed to be able to transmit this virus in the feed and feed ingredients. That's a key thing we've learned. Some of them are focused on from the standpoint of the producer. They help improve the profitability. We've also from our meat science group, we've had some work on food safety and how we can make the food, make it safer, and some of those processes there. We've done some work nutritionally, feeding the pig and using some of the byproducts that make the meat make it tastier and more palatable to the consumer, and in the end of the day that makes a product that tastes better. So
there are many changes Kansas State Swine is bringing to producers through their laboratories.
Yeah, some of the changes that we're expecting here in the future in some of our focus areas. Again, we're trying to deal with this PED virus from feed. We're trying to figure out in the feed mills with our feed mill group, what are some practical things that we can do that will inhibit this transmission of this virus that'll help our producers out in the farm. From a nutrition standpoint, we're looking at some feed additives to help reduce variation in pigs. They'll grow better, you know, and that'll make things more profitable. And then we've got a great group of grad students that are from throughout the country, and we have a couple of international students that are involved in some great projects that range all the way from feed milling science. We have all the way through to nutritional science in pigs, and so we're really excited about the future and all the opportunities that we've been given here at K-State.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica Inc.
Hello, I'm Dr. Nels Lindberg with Animal Medical Center and Production Animal Consultation. Today, on our quick tip of the day, we want to talk about withdrawal times. I've got a question for you. I'm curious if you're following your withdrawal times, or if you've ever had FDA come visit you because you've had a residue pop up or they're looking for a residue. What happens when FDA shows up is they've had a residue pop up at the packing plant. And from there, they just work their way down the line trying to find out where that drug was given and who didn't obey the law and obey the withdrawal. So it's vitally important as a producer that you keep very accurate records, handwritten records, or computerized records, so that every drug you give, you have the withdrawal established. Please don't send animals to the next producer or sale barn without making sure that they are off withdrawal.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Turn to a Central National Bank Ag Professional. You'll be in good company. They'll help you track expense lines, manage variable input costs, assess ground agreements, pick a crop protection plan. These times demand ag professionals. Central National Bank. You could profit from what they know. Ag operations run better on Central Time.
Central National Bank. Money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by Central National Bank. Put our ag professionals to work for you.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on Ag Am in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Cabus. Kansas State University Swine Industry Day was held November 21st at the Kansas Alumni Center. Take a look.
So, what we've got right here is our annual Kansas State University Industry Swine Day. It's an opportunity for all the K-State swine nutrition, swine management, swine reproductive group to provide some information out there to producers. And so, our key here at K-State is for the application of swine information to help increase producer profitability. And so people in attendance would be other researchers. We've got industry professionals here. We've got producers here in the state of Kansas as well as the surrounding states coming in for a time to get together and just learn all the new aspects of what's going on out there in swine nutrition and swine management.
PEDV and swine delta coronavirus are serious issues in swine production in both Kansas and around the world. Porcine epidemic diarrhea virus is a coronavirus that infects the cells lining the small intestine of a pig, causing severe diarrhea and dehydration. Like PEDV, swine delta coronavirus causes diarrhea and vomiting. However, mortality rates appear to be lower than in cases of PEDV.
So we talked about PED today as well as swine delta coronavirus, and both of those would be similar viruses. They're both a coronavirus, but behave a little bit differently when it gets into the pig. And so ultimately, if we lump them together, it's probably the best way to think about prevention techniques. And ultimately, both viruses are very infectious. It takes a very small amount of virus to be able to actually infect a barn. Based on the results that we have, 1 gram of infected piglet feces is enough to infect 500 tons of feed and still be able to make pigs sick. And so ultimately, the biggest focus for the producers is biosecurity and preventing the spread of PED from one barn to the next, from one animal to the next. It could be on someone's boots, it could be on someone's clothes, it could be on trucks and vehicles like that. And so focusing on biosecurity to prevent the spread is really the key. The big thing with both the PED and the Delta Corona is that it's a primarily a fecal oral transmission. And so it's a transfer of virus then through something that the next pig will consume to be able to to ultimately be sick.
Again, both PEDV and swine delta coronavirus cause diarrhea and vomiting, and are highly contagious.
And really, you think about the PED as well as the Delta Corona, both will have very similar symptoms that a producer would see in their barns. Normally about 2 days after they're inoculated or after they're contaminated with the virus, they'll start seeing a really loose, watery diarrhea. You'll see pigs that'll go off feed, they'll start huddling, grouping up together. I mean, it's very clear when you go into these barns that you know something's wrong. I mean, you can actually tell it the minute you open that door. You'll start having a bad stench, a bad odor just from all the fecal material that's in the environment right there.
Strict biosecurity measures have been the standard operating procedure for many producers for a long time, but the presence of PEDV has forced researchers to revisit or step up their practices.
Yeah, I mean, with everything that we've conducted thus far, what's really impressive to us as much as anything is just how infective this virus can be. It takes a very, very small amount of the virus to lead to infection. Again, 1 gram of feces in 500 tons of feed is a very dilute amount. And so again, the focus on biosecurity, the focus on making every step you can not to artificially transfer it from one location to the next. You know, the big thing though that producers as well as the consumers need to keep in mind is that the PED and Delta Corona are not a zoonotic disease. So it poses no threat to humans, to other animals, anything like that out there. So it's a swine-specific disease that we're working with right here, which is great because it means that we don't have to worry about consuming our pork chop tonight at dinner time.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Turn to a Central National Bank Ag Professional. You'll be in good company. They'll help you track expense lines, manage variable input costs, assess ground agreements, pick a crop protection plan. These times demand ag professionals. Central National Bank. You could profit from what they know. Ag operations run better on Central Time.
Central National Bank, money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on Ag Game in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Capus. Profitability is a big factor swine producers look at their operation and is a big talking point at the Kansas State University Swine Industry Day.
One of the focuses today of our Kansas State Swine Day is to bring producers and all those interested the latest information on ingredient pricing so they can feed their pigs not only the highest quality diets, but also do it at the lowest price to improve their profitability.
The K-State Applied Swine Nutrition Team conducts massive amounts of research with their very in-depth data to help Kansas farmers and other groups to understand what problems could be occurring at their operation.
Part of our K-State Applied Swine Nutrition Team will be working with Dr. Mike Tokash, Bob Goodband, as well as in collaboration with Dr. Jason Woodworth and Dr. Steve Dreetz. And we help coordinate on the faculty side the research that goes on not only here at K-State, but we work with many commercial producers. And then we also have 10 to 12 graduate students working on their master's and doctorate degrees in swine nutrition, and they're the ones involved with all the daily details of the research, weighing of pigs, and as a team between us faculty and graduate students help put together all this information for our producers.
Amino acids are substances which are linked together in different combinations to form different proteins. Kansas State research efforts constantly reinforce the importance of good quality proteins in amino acid availability, particularly during periods of stress, management change, and when the immune system is challenged.
Some of the highlights that we'll be focusing on today in terms of continuing to refine the amino acid requirements of pigs, and amino acids are the building blocks of the protein that we have in our bodies, and pigs require those amino acids in certain levels, and so that helps the nutritionists and the feed companies formulate diets to more correctly meet the needs of those pigs. So we're going to focus on presenting the newest information on our amino acid requirements. We also have a lot of feed processing research that's been done this last year that we'll be discussing. And when we refer to feed processing, we're talking about the grinding of grains or the pelleting of feeds, and then the way that we present that. And again, as we continue to refine and improve those technologies, we're going to provide information on the grinding of feed finer, as well as how the pelleting feed also benefits pigs from both a growth and economic standpoint.
Proper nutritional management of sows is important to maximize the number of pigs per sow per year and to maximize sow longevity.
One of the things that we've recently learned, and a common practice with those that have sows, is to feed additional feed for the last 3 weeks prior to that sow farrowing. And what that is believed to have done is increase the birth weight of pigs, which is very important for their survival. We just got done with one large commercial study where we actually implemented that practice or not. And in fact, we were not able to find a benefit of feeding that extra feed in late gestation or prior to farrowing. And that's a costly economic practice for producers, because by feeding extra feed, obviously our costs increase. So we're reevaluating and having producers reevaluate that common practice, because we may be simply just wasting feed and dollars that may we be able to cut back and improve the profitability of our operations that farrow and have sows.
This Meet the Future Veterinarian is brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Amanda Emery recently received an AmStut scholarship. Raised on a beef and crop farm in Indiana, she is a second-year vet student at Purdue University. Passionate about animal agriculture and public health, Amanda has served in Haiti with the Christian Veterinary Mission and is also pursuing a Master's of Public Health degree at the University of Minnesota.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan from Doc Talk. If you miss us on Monday morning, you can join us at 6:30 a.m. every Sunday morning on RFD TV. Doc Talk has a national following. We're sure glad that you joined us on Mondays, but if you miss us and you want to catch us out on a Sunday morning, get up at 6:30 a.m. and we'll be right there, RFD TV, 6:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'll see you down the road.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help? How can we help?
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on Ag AM in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Cabas. Kansas State University Swine Industry Day was held November 21st at the Kansas Alumni Center. Take a look. Low birth weight pig research and litter size increase are research efforts currently underway at Kansas State.
Actually, what's happened in the swine industry the last 15 years is there's been tremendous genetic progress for increased selection for litter size. We went from 8 pigs per litter born alive to 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we're getting 15, 16, 17 pigs born alive per litter. The challenge we have in the swine industry with that is, as we've increased the number of pigs, we've also increased the distribution of birth weight. And so the talk that we are presenting here at the Swine Industry Day this year is how you can overcome some of the challenges of low birth weight pigs in with modern research concepts.
A full market pig is what producers strive for, but there are still many misconceptions with that concept.
A full market value pig is a pig that falls into the ideal market weight, the ideal packer grid to who they're selling to when these pigs reach 6 to 6.5 months of age. And what our research has shown is that pigs that weigh less than 2 pounds at birth have a real challenge in the production system, first of all with survivability. Secondly, they're slower growing than their peers in the group because the other pigs weigh 1 pound to 1.5 pounds more per pig at birth. They have lower poor feed efficiency, and they have carcasses that have an increased fat composition. And so what the economic analysis said is at market time, or when we get those pigs close to full value pig, they're actually worth $20 less per pig marketed compared to their peer group.
It is a common practice to increase feed by 0.5 to 1.0 kilograms the last 2 to 3 weeks of gestation to support the increased litter growth. When sows are in proper body condition, bump feeding is recommended. However, if sows and gilts are over, conditioned bump feeding is not recommended. With the increase in feed costs, many producers are questioning the importance of bump feeding, as it will save $3 to $5 per sow in feed costs.
What is happening on many production systems is people are focusing on how do we change birth weight by feeding sows more feed during late gestation. We call that bump feeding, where you increase the amount of feed per gilt or per sow 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds per animal during that last 30 days of gestation. That's an attempt to increase the average birth weight and likewise reduce the variation in birth weight of pigs within the production system. The other things is in the farrowing house, once those little pigs are born, real intensive pig management, such things as typical things. We make sure they find the underline and get colostrum. We get those pigs, we put them in little boxes and make sure they get warm, that they're dry, and that we actually get them warmed back up so that they have a chance for survivability. What our research is focusing on is much different than that. We are focusing on an area which is called fetal programming. And fetal programming is something that you change during pregnancy to change the ultimate physiological outcome of the pig. And what we mean by that is there's a number of hormones that if you change the levels during gestation, that we can influence the birth weight of the pigs, the number of muscle fibers, and the ultimate quality, or come close to realizing a full value market pig. And that's the research data that we're talking about at this year's Swine Day.
Thank you for watching this episode of Farm Factor on Ag AM in Kansas. For more of Farm Factor, or if you want to view this program again, visit us on www.agaminkansas.com, or you can like Farm Factor on Facebook or follow Ag AM in Kansas on Twitter. So have a good day with good luck.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.